So this is my point of view regarding the Yamaha FZX. I feel this is a missed opportunity by Yamaha. They could have easily introduced the XCS, which is a proper looking scrambler. Apart from the looks, which I would give it 10 out of 10. It's got a capable engine, a liquid cooled 155cc engine borrowed from the Yamaha R15. It's got respectable highway cruising speeds. And even though it's not an outright scrambler, the overall look and the performance of the engine kind of makes you forget about the fact that okay, you may not join an Xpulse in an expedition, but it's good enough for any soft roading that you may come across in your motorcycling life. It should be like what, 5%, 5 to 10%. Coming back to the FZ, now the FZX is basically based on the Yamaha FZ series. Now if you're following the news, the FZ series, the engine has already been detuned for the BS6 version. FZ initially was producing say somewhere hovering around 13.5 horsepower. Now the engine has been detuned to 12.7 horsepower, which makes the FZ the least powerful bike in its category. And on top of that, now Yamaha has introduced the FZX, which makes it 4 kgs heavier than the FZ model. Yes, it does look bigger, but this just decreases the power to weight ratio of that particular bike. So in terms of performance, I'm pretty sure the FZX will be the least performing bike, at least with reference to the acceleration 0 to 100 in top speed. So in terms of average, obviously you can expect 50 plus kilometers, and I'm talking of real world fuel efficiency average figures. My friend owns a FZ, so I can back that particular claim. The other part about this particular bike, even though it looks like a scrambler, apart from the engine that I feel they could have easily increased 1 or 2 or maybe even 5 horsepower considering the price bracket that they have placed the bike, they have done nothing with reference to the suspension either. So the only thing they have done with reference to portraying it as a scrambler, they've given a underbelly engine guard to protect it from say stones being thrown from the front tire, and they've given dual purpose tires. That's about it. So it's purely cosmetic. And again, let me emphasize on the cosmetic aspect. Yamaha could have made the bike look far more elegant. It just looks as if it was a hurriedly made design, and especially for the people who had expectations of the XCS in terms of a scrambler look, I think with reference to the looks department, it is a big disappointment, at least from my point of view. Now again, the only ace, there are a few aces behind the sleeve regarding the FZX. The biggest ace is the Yamaha Y Connect system, where everything from your phone battery to your SMSs to say your email notification to where your bike has been parked last in the parking lot, to Yamaha Connect, where you can connect with other Yamaha owners, what's the average your bike has received as opposed to theirs, how many kilometers have you traveled as opposed to theirs. So I feel that is a good app, a good point in the app aspect. It's also called something called as the rev dashboard, where it shows how much your engine has revved, what is the percentage of throttle that you have used in your rides, etc. So the Yamaha Y Connect, okay, is a plus point, but they have missed out on one major thing, is turn-by-turn navigation that everything from an Ntorq to a Xpulse 200 has. So turn-by-turn navigation, I feel, is a big miss with reference to the Yamaha Y Connect, but it's got everything else that you may require. Also, it's got a new dashboard, which I personally feel it kind of resembles the CB500X dashboard to a certain extent, obviously like 2-3 levels lower, because the CB500X is basically six times more expensive, so you will not expect the same dashboard features. Yamaha also provides front and rear LED lights. They've also got a pretty retro looking seat cover, which does look good to a certain extent. The grab rail, I find that a little old school. I don't know if that was intentional, but it kind of doesn't make the bike look that premium, the rear grab rail. But again, since they're going with the retro look, maybe intentionally they had that retro looking grab rail that they have placed over there. So overall, according to me, it's just a hastily modified Yamaha FZ. Because even if you look at the FZ's design, it looks proportionate. It looks as if it was built around that particular chassis. I just feel that the design is a big miss, and also Yamaha missed out in introducing the particular FZX in the 250cc variant. Now again, the 250cc engine of the Yamaha is pretty capable, not as good as the current 250cc's in the market, but it is still a capable engine. Now, should you buy it? I mean, according to me, if you're investing 1,17,000 to 1,20,000 rupees, 1,17,000 is the non-Bluetooth, non-Yamaha Y app model, and you just pay like 3,000 rupees extra and you get the top end Yamaha with the Bluetooth features and the Yamaha Y app. So if you're ready to pay 1,20,000 rupees, you will as pay 8 to 10,000 rupees more and buy a proper fully capable 200cc category bike. You have the Pulsar NS, and as I mentioned, the Pulsar NS and other manufacturers have actually increased the horsepower. So the Pulsar NS produces 24.5 horsepower in the BS6 variant, plus obviously, and Bajaj, the engines may never be as smooth as Yamaha, but they come pretty close. So it's got a pretty reliable engine as well, and for the price, I think that is a far more value for money proposition. There's another bike that you could consider in the 1,20,000 rupees range. Again, 1,27,000, 1,30,000 rupees range is the TVS Apache RTR 200. Now, RTR, they keep on upgrading, they keep on finding, okay, what next can I do, unlike other manufacturers. Another very capable bike in the 1 lakh rupee range is the CBZ Extreme 160. And why am I saying it's very capable? Because I feel the CBZ Extreme 160 is more of a scrambler than the so-called Yamaha FZX. Why am I saying this? Because I've personally ridden the CBZ Extreme on really horrible roads, and I feel the suspension, the work that Hero has done in terms of the suspension is like commendable. It just absorbs the bad roads in a far better manner than any of the street road biased bikes that I have ridden. The other bike that comes in my mind is the Hero Xpulse 200. You cannot go wrong with that. By far, it's the best bike in terms of off-roading. It will, if you're going on a serious off-road track, it will beat the KTM Adventure. It will beat the BMW GS 310. It will beat the Himalayan. It'll beat any bike as long as it's a proper off-road bike, because off-roading track, because it may not have the best power to weight ratio, but it's the engine is just perfectly tuned for off-roading, and the suspension just swallows up anything that you throw at it. Obviously, you can all upgrade it to the Rally Pro edition as well, but again, 1,20,000 rupees, there are so many options that you could opt for. There's so many better options you could opt for. I'm not saying the Yamaha is not a good option, but again, just do your research and you may just get a bike that is 50cc higher in capacity. And again, example, the NS200, 24.5 horsepower as compared to 12.7 horsepower. So there's more than a 10 horsepower difference, and the price difference is hardly, say, 15 to 20,000 rupees. So I think just keep your eyes open, and there are so many options that you could consider, but this is just my point of view regarding this bike. So in short, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it for that price, definitely.